Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Josephine and on this channel we talk about all things fragrance. Today's video is a review on fragrance.one, which is Jeremy Fragrance's brand. So I have two of his fragrances. The first one is Office for Men and then Date for Men, and I will be giving you my honest impressions of both. I actually won these two fragrances in the Robes 08 challenge on YouTube, so thank you again Mark for sending these, and let's get right on into the video. Jeremy Fragrance is no stranger to the community. He is the #1 fragrance reviewer. I personally haven't met Jeremy, but from what I can see in his videos is he has a lot of personality and charisma, and I believe is one of the first fragrance reviewers to come out with his brand, fragrance.one. People can say what they want about Jeremy, but I find that his approach to business is really smart and he knows what he's doing. And what I can see from his brand is the way that he is selling his fragrances, the whole concept around them is very smart. The whole concept behind his fragrances is that each fragrance is meant for a different occasion. So the two fragrances for men, one is for the office and then another one is for date night. So that really demystifies this frankly oversaturated fragrance market and makes it really easy to navigate in terms of what scent you should have for what occasion. So I'm going to begin this review by first going over the packaging because it's the same for both fragrances, and then I'll go into the juices individually. So in terms of the packaging, let's start off with the carton. To me, this carton is a big no-no because it is and looks very cheap. I work in the fragrance industry and I can tell you that testers that are sent to stores have a very similar type of carton, and that is one of the reasons why testers are more affordable or cheaper to produce than sellable products, is because of the minimal packaging that they have. And this is exactly the same in terms of the carton. If you can even hear it here, it just doesn't feel very premium. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because these fragrances are not the most affordable. They're more on the expensive end, but I'll get into that a little later. Another point that I'd like to highlight in terms of the carton is, yes, although you see the bottle very well and the name of the bottle very clearly, which is very helpful, the branding on this is quite minimal. So you can't really see which fragrance brand this is about. You don't have any branding in the front here with fragrance.one. It's only when you turn to the back here in fine print that you can see it's by fragrance.one, which is a bit of a shame because for people who don't know Jeremy or who don't know about the brand, it's a bit confusing as to, well, Office for Men, like what brand is this? Let's get now into the bottle itself. So I find that the bottle is really nice to hold. This is more of a minimal type of packaging. It feels really good in your hand. It perfectly sits in the palm of your hand. You get a really good grip on this fragrance, which I very much like. The issue that I have with the bottle is the cap. The cap is, again, like the carton, super cheap. You can actually bend it. It's easily distorted, which is not something that I necessarily look for in a fragrance. And also the finishing here on the spray it almost looks incomplete. It's kind of missing this metallic band that runs around it to hide this crimping, which I find just doesn't look right. However, a positive note when it comes to the packaging is the atomizer. It is fantastic. The spray here is incredible. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see on camera, but let's try. I think it's great. The diffusion is wonderful. It's super consistent. So from that aspect, it's great. Overall, I would rate the packaging, because of the carton and the fact that the cap isn't great, I would rate it a 5 out of 10. And now onto the concept. I find the concept very, very clear on both fragrances, whether it is office or date. It's very clear as to what the fragrance is going to do. And so from that aspect, I'm going to be rating the concept a 10 out of 10. Onto the juice. So let's begin with Office for Men. This fragrance, I believe, in terms of the benchmarks, were along the lines of Sauvage and Creed Aventus. So this is a very mass appealing type of fragrance, and I think this is what Jeremy wanted to do with his fragrances, is making them very mass appealing. So let's have a look at the notes in this fragrance. So the notes are the following. The top notes are bergamot, ambrox, and orris. Heart notes are pink pepper, cachalox, paradisone, and the base notes are musk, patchouli, intense modern wood. This fragrance is a very powerful, impactful fresh fragrance that will definitely catch your attention from the first spray on the blotter or on the skin. It has a lot of charisma, and you can definitely recognize the Alberto Morillas signature in this fragrance. To me, it opens with a very big dose of bergamot, ambroxan, and also dihydromercenol, which is a synthetic molecule that gives this fresh and clean effect, and it also helps with the longevity of the fragrance. The opening reminds me a little bit of Sauvage in terms of the sharpness of ambroxan. It's like very present. It will really grab your attention, and it also has a little bit of like a fruity juiciness, just a hint, which again is very much an attention grabber. And then in the dry down, which is the part that I personally prefer, I get sort of a woody sweetness. There's something a little bit resinous that gives more backbone and structure to the perfume. I don't know what it is. It could be the patchouli and the iris together giving that overall impression, but overall this fragrance is fresh, musky, woodsy, and very, very manly. And I find that it is more bold than, say, Sauvage or Creed Aventus. So I would rate it a 7 out of 10, only because I personally prefer fragrances that are more on the niche end, but it is still a good grade in the sense that it is a very mass appealing fragrance, and I think that a lot of people will enjoy it, and also this type of fragrance will be getting a lot of compliments. Onto the longevity. This fragrance is insanely long lasting. I would say it lasts at least 8 hours on your skin. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of longevity. For the projection, this fragrance is really comparable to Sauvage, I would say, and actually has a stronger projection than Creed. So in my books, this is a 10 out of 10. People will notice you everywhere you go if you wear this fragrance. In terms of the price, it's 159.99 euros, so it's pretty expensive. And to be fair, this fragrance, although it's well crafted and it's very mass appealing, has a DNA that's similar to Sauvage and Creed. I think it's too expensive for what it is, especially given the packaging that is below average in my opinion. So if I had to rate the price, I would give this a 2 out of 10. And now onto dates. So dates, the key notes in here are mandarin, bergamot, lemon, artemisia, cardamom for the top notes. The middle notes are ambrox, extreme woods, juniper, and then the base is musk, patchouli, oud essence, and vetiver. This is another very mass appealing fragrance. To me, it has a DNA that is on the similar lines to 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. However, this is not my favorite out of the two. I prefer Office. This perfume just doesn't do it for me personally. It's very, very strong, really intoxicating. I mean, you gotta give it to Jeremy. His fragrances are strong and powerful. For me, this fragrance is just too sweet, spicy. There's something that's a bit cloying about it, which really bothers me. And in terms of wearing this on a date, I would not want my partner to wear this on a date. I don't find this a very attractive scent necessarily. So for me, the juice is a no, and I would rate it a 5 out of 10. As for the projection and longevity, just like Office, to me, this is 10 out of 10. People will notice you. It will stay on forever. Like I said, I don't really like this fragrance, but I did test it on my skin to see how it was lasting, and I couldn't stand it, so I actually washed my hands, but it was still on. It doesn't come off. So yeah, this fragrance will last forever. As for the price, this is 219 euros and 99 cents, which is crazy. For me, this is just, I mean, I would not spend that money on this fragrance. This is just nuts. To put it in context, if we take another date fragrance that I would personally recommend for men, I would say you should go for Musc Ravageur by Frédéric Malle. That is 210 euros, which is cheaper than Date for Men. Just be mindful of that. And like I said, it has a very similar DNA to 1 Million by Paco Rabanne, along those lines of mass appealing fragrances. So I think within the designer realm, you'll find perfumes that will have a similar effect to this, but at a much more affordable price. So again, here the price is going to be a 1 out of 10 for me. My overall impressions of fragrance.one are the following. The pros, the fragrances are mass appealing, so likable, and will get you compliments, which is important to a lot of people. 2, the juices are very well crafted. You can tell that there's a great perfumer behind these fragrances. 3, I think the whole concept around the perfumes, how you have a fragrance for a different occasion. Makes it very simple and easy to navigate the brand, when frankly, when you go into a store, there's hundreds of fragrances, it can seem a little bit daunting. So from that aspect, that's really great. And they are also extremely powerful, so they will give you amazing longevity, amazing projection, which a lot of people look for in fragrances. Now, in terms of the cons, I would definitely say the packaging needs improvement in terms of the carton, but also the bottle itself. And for me personally, I enjoy fragrances that are a bit more unique. I'm more drawn to niche perfume. So I think the juices could have been a bit more unique, but I don't think that's what he's looking for. He's looking for juices that are mass appealing, that people will enjoy. And finally, the big con, and the biggest con actually, is the price. These fragrances are overpriced for what they are. And I think you need to be very mindful of that when you try these fragrances. The good thing is, I believe Jeremy Fragrance has travel sprays, so you can definitely test those fragrances out through travel sprays first to see how you like it and whether you want to commit to the investment or not. So those are my thoughts on Office for Men and Date for Men, the fragrances by Jeremy Fragrance. I hope you found this video useful, and let me know if you've tried any of his fragrances and what are your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!